Okay, guys, we're back. So we're going to talk about the sand flats here, which are going to be on the west side of Los Bancos de en Medio, which in the previous video that I just made where I walked out there to take a look. So now we're going to be looking on how to get out there from the west side to this area. So you got to remember that this is the wind tidal flats on the lower Laguna Madre, and Los Bancos de en Medio are in the center of this area where these tidal flats are at. And since I did the walk, I was kind of like trying to clarify, because I don't think I've ever really clarified. That's what I kind of mentioned in the other video, is you have mud flats on both sides of the lower Laguna Madre, and then you have sand flats, and then you have grass flats, and that's how it lays out. And the sand flats and the grass flats meet together, and then on each end they meet into the mud flats. So we're going to take a look at this. We're going to take a look at a ride out to the sand flats from Arroyo City, from Bird Island to Los Bancos de en Medio. So here we are. Here we are right here. We're heading out. We're right here next to that old gut by Bird Island. Bird Island is just right off to the port side of the boat. And I'm going to head out to the sand flats. So right here, we're in the beginning part of the grass flat. So we're going to run all the way across the grass flat. So I'm lining out. I'm lining into the old gut. There's an old gut that the Army Corps of Engineers cut just right south of Bird Island. And I'm trying to line right up in line with that, and I'm going to shoot straight out to the sand flats. That's what I'm going to do. And we'll be heading out there in the area of Los Bancos de en Medio. But this is going to be from the west side. In the previous video, I came from the east when I walked that tidal flat and wind tidal flat, and I walked over there. So here you're going to be able to see what it looks like from the west side, where the grass meets the sand. But it's a beautiful day. Look at that. That was a beautiful day that day. Sun was out. A little bit of spotty clouds in the sky, but still beautiful day. And Cassie and me decided we're going to take a run out to the sand flats just to see what's out there. And on that day, I think all we saw were some mullet running around. Big school, big mullet. I don't recall seeing any reds out there at the time, but they do cross there. So you just got to time it right to get them when they're out there hanging around, meandering around. And usually what I've ever only seen them in is in 3s, 5s, 7s, 9s. I've never seen a big, massive school of them out there, but biggest is probably about 9 of them. So here comes the second leaning tower right here. This is the second leaning tower that we're passing up. That's south of Bird Island. The first leaning tower is right up next to Bird Island. And we're heading straight due east. And this is all good area out here. This is really good area. It's pretty shallow out here. But I've got plenty of reds in this area too. Which there'll be some videos coming up that we'll cover. I think we covered one of them when I was I don't know. I want to say we did, where I was fishing in 40+ mile-an-hour winds. If I haven't, it's going to be one coming up, and that was out in this area where I caught all those reds that day on artificial. We were fishing artificial wake bait, and on a very windy day, and we caught a lot of nice reds, but it was back here. All right, so there used to be something like a little shack or something here. The foundation is still right there. with a block left on it on the starboard side. And then past that, the third leaning tower is going to be coming up. And then right after that, you're going to be starting to get into the sand flats, and you'll start seeing the bay floor is going to start to change. The topography is going to change. It's going to start, you're going to start seeing the grass is going to start disappearing. And then eventually it's just going to open up into just nothing but pure sand, and then really super shallow, where the water is only like 5 inches deep, if even that. But yeah, look at that. Beautiful, beautiful day. So here comes the third leaning tower. It's coming up here on the starboard side of the boat. That's the third and final leaning tower right there. So if you hit that, you're close to the sand flats. You're almost onto the sand flats, because you're going to see here in just a little bit, all this grass is going to disappear, and it's going to start turning into sand. It's going to slowly start to reduce and turn into sand. And Deer Island's going to be out there in front of me, and also Bancos, Los Bancos and Medio be out there off in the distance a little bit from me. But you'll see it's nothing but sand. Clear water, sand. Whereas on the other side, it was clear water and mud that you saw in the previous video. On this side, it's sand. You can see Deer Island off of the starboard bow over there, the big island, way off in the distance. As we make this so we still have some grass. But here in a little bit, you're going to see it's going to start to change. The grass is going to start to thin out, and then it's just going to be nothing but sand. So that's Deer Island. You see that in front of me? And the banks are right there off to the left right there. Los Bancos and Medio are off to the left, but this big island that's right here now, that's to the port side, that's Deer Island. So I'm going to skirt around that one, is what I'm going to do. I'm going to skirt around Deer Island. And see, now look how it's completely changed. We ran out of grass. We're in the sand now. And these are the sand flats east of Bird Island. And like I'd said in the previous video, the sand blows off the dunes on Padre Island, and it deposits it in this area of the lower Laguna Madre out here, which is basically almost out in the middle of the lower Laguna Madre, semi-middle. And it's deposited all along here, from here all the way down. And here in a minute, it's going to clear up perfectly, and you're going to be able to see the floor. You see how it's starting to clear up, and just little spots of grass here and there. And then it's just going to be nothing but sand, and it's going to be crystal clear water. But that's how you get out to that area, into the sand flats, and into to where Deer Island is, and to where Los Bancos and Medio is you just shoot straight out that gut south of Bird Island and go due east, and you'll be there. See, it's clearing up. And that's all I'm doing. I'm just scouting. I'm looking for reds. And all I saw that day, I saw a mullet. There was a bunch of mullet out there, the big mullet, not the little ones. So you're talking the big ones, the ones that are, 8, inches and bigger, 12 inches and bigger. Big mullets is what I came across. I didn't see any little schools of reds meandering around out there, but you'll generally find them. All right, so see, there you are. We're in the sand flats. Now, here we are drifting. We're drifting here. This is just west of Los Bancos de en Medio. These are the sand flats that are right directly west of them. So you can kind of get an idea of what it looks like. No grass at all out there. There might be some little bit patches here and there, but it's all sand. And this is where the last time that I broke down in my boat, this is where I broke down at. Was in this area. And it was a long haul to drag that boat. You think that walk was long from the island to the banks that I did in the last video. I was nothing compared to this walk when I was and plus I was dragging a boat with me, and back to Bird Island until I got picked up. You know, I think I drug it out there like, I don't know, 4.5 hours, 5 hours. I was dragging that boat until somebody picked me up. And I was almost to Bird Island. I was just about less than a quarter of a mile from Bird Island when somebody finally came by and picked me up. But this is the sand flats, due east of Bird Island, just straight out. And right east of this is Deer Island, and then the chain of islands, which is known as Los Bancos de en Medio. So I usually fish this area out here. Yeah, I mean, you catch flounder, you catch reds, or usually, and you know, drum from time to time will be hanging out around here, and they just come around but I usually only catch them I see them in like 2Z or 3Zs, 5Zs, and 7s, 9s. It's usually odd numbers that you see them in. But they're out here. And it's a big, vast area of the lower Laguna Madre. I mean, it's vast. So you gotta be on point, you gotta be spot on, and with a little bit of luck, you'll have the right timing and you'll catch them when they're out here. So the drone's gonna pan back so you can see a little bit here before we close it out. But I just wanted to cover this since I just covered the Los Bancos de en Medio with the tidal flats. But this is it, and that's the banks right there behind me. So one of these days, Rusty and me will see you guys out drift fishing on the lower Laguna Madre. I hope you guys have a good day, and thank you for watching. Rusty. Guy's got a new friend now. What you doing there, Rusty? Of course, it's Cassie girl. Little chica. outside. I'll go out there with Cassie. We'll take care of that business. Doesn't look like it. Let's see here. Tucked away. What you doing, Rusty? Come here. Cassie? This is a pistol, huh? guy back. Let him grow bigger. Good job. Barking him up to the boat. Let's put him over here. There we go. Back in the water, baby. Come on. There you go. Ready? There he is. What'd you think? We already got 3. We need trout. We're missing 2 trout. Already got our limit on reds for today. That was a nice one. Right? So you gonna bark up 2 more trout instead of reds? I need that Cassie mojo for trout, not reds. Got that?